Well, hello, beautiful beings. You, yes, you. Welcome to another Sunday show with Broadcast Team Alpha on LNM Radio. And the past 3 weeks, including this week, we have been having a theme about mastermind. And what is mastermind? Other words to describe it could be like a think tank or brainstorming. The formal definition is an ingenious, complex, coordinated plan. So we've been talking about this for the past 2 weeks, and you could go to our YouTube, Broadcast Team Alpha. You can go to broadcastteamalpha.com website or Broadcast Team Alpha Facebook page to listen to the previous shows. We're going to be doing a wrap up and talking about this final phase of the mastermind. And we're going to give you something that you can think about even being part of in the future. So without any further ado, to get into this really great subject, I would like to introduce my co-host, Tom Schaefer and Augie Nost. Augie, you want to tell us about Mastermind?
Well, hello there. Yeah, I sure can. A little bit here to start with. We over the last month here, we have been having a lot of fun on Sundays when we have been talking about this, because it really is exhilarating just even thinking about the possibilities that can be done when we are joining minds together and tapping into the universal storehouse of creative energies. Think about that. Some people call it God. How would you like to brainstorm with God? Now, I paused on purpose there because I really want you to think. This is phenomenal what can be created. And most super successful people in the world, they are doing a form of either brainstorming or mastermind groups. They can do it within their business, and they also should, if they don't, do it within their families. And so should we. And I said we, even for our business. Even if you think that you're not in business, a family is a form of business, because we are involving activities that has to be successfully conducted. It involves economics. It involves dreams and aspirations to be completed. And their phenomenal successes out there, they stand out on their own, because these successful people, they're accessible to us through their writing and through their accomplishments. So yes, we can do the same thing by joining minds together. And remember, the mastermind group is when two or more minds are united in harmony. They create a third mind that has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. And that is when we, let's say, a small mastermind group could be 7 people getting together in a business or a family. We set our goals on something that we want to accomplish, and then we brainstorm how to do it. We get ideas from both us and from the universal consciousness, and then we act on those ideas. And at the tail end of this show, we're going to actually do one of these brainstorming sessions. It will be a quick one, and you'll get a good understanding of it. And after this show, you should contact us. And Tom's going to talk more about all the different places where you can contact us towards the end of the show here. So we will have a good understanding of how you can participate with us in this mastermind group. And if we want to talk a little more about the process of a mastermind, we're going to do that. We're going to go through the different steps of it because there is a structure through it. And this structure is very important for it to work the way it does.
So,
Because it
Augie,
opens,
can
yeah,
I interrupt you for a minute? Can we just recap a little bit about like all of the reasons people would use a mastermind group? Because I just want, it's such an expansive concept, right? It could be 7 friends get together, they want to improve their community. 7 artists get together, they want to create something with art. 7 radio show hosts get together because they want to impact a change in the airways. I mean, the reasons to do a mastermind group are limitless, right? Not just business and family.
yes, absolutely. Now, that's a very good point. And I think you gave us some extra ideas there. If you want to expand a little more on that, that would be wonderful because
Sure. Well, it
we
could
are
be
actually doing a mastermind right here, the 3 of us right now, plus all the people that is listening.
right. So a mastermind could be for any intention that you can come up with that other people are in agreement with. You know, the thing like when 2 or more are gathered kind of thing, right? But in a more mainstream way. So it could be a mastermind for health. It could be a mastermind for body transformation. It could be a mastermind for parenting. It could be a mastermind for finances. It could be a mastermind for millionaire experience. It could be a mastermind for business. So there's so many, so for everything that you can create an intention or a goal or you have a desire to create, you could do a mastermind for it. And what that means is that you're going to come together with other people. And if you were, you know how you play cards and you put chips into the center of the table called the kitty. You put your chips in, and the kitty becomes really filled with abundant, with abundance, right, in the form of chips. So it's the same thing that we do that with thought. We have an intention, and then we add chips or we add thought currency to the intention, and we build up this universal currency, if you will, in the universe that's very powerful, and it helps to deliver the goal of what the intention was. Did that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well,
And
you
the
know,
thing,
Augie was talking earlier, before we got started, about how these thoughts don't just go between us verbally, but how they reach out into the universal consciousness.
Exactly. They go into the quantum field where we're all connected anyway. So why not connect for a purpose instead of, kind of creating by default, which is what we do.
absolutely. And when we are connecting to that universal field, it is not just the 3 of us. It is the field and all the other minds around the world, or maybe on other worlds, who knows, that are thinking in the same frequency range that we are thinking on similar concepts and ideas. Because when we send our wants and desires and dream into that field, it will look around to try to find something in there that it matches frequency with. And
And
that could be visual images with emotion and love and gratitude for already having it. Once we send it in there, there's always a balance in the universe. And this thought that we send in there is looking for balance, looking for something in the same frequency range. When it finds it, we can latch onto it and bring it back.
and
And there's a process for bringing it into the physical existence that goes through the physical laws of physics mostly, but it can come back and it will become part of our daily life. That is accomplishment.
And I think the whole frequency thing, could be a little confusing for people who might be new to this. So, an example that people might be able to relate to, and it's a little bit of an example that's painful, is if you've ever come up with an idea and you are 100% certain you've come up with an idea, whether it's an idea for a new patent or it's an idea for the name of your book, and you don't tell anybody, but you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it, and the next thing you see somebody on the internet who just said the name of your book. And that happens because all of the ideas really are floating around in the quantum field, and they can be accessed. So when Augie talks about finding like frequency, we're talking about having the intention, then having that intention going out up into where all of the ideas exist, and then connecting all those like ideas together to make them very powerful and to make them actualize.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become coincidence, it becomes a reflection or a result.
Yeah, no coincidence, absolutely.
Exactly. I had that happen this morning on another conversation I was having, and then someone called me and said they had a similar idea. For me, that happened today. That was amazing.
Yes. I love when that happens, because especially when it's related to a creative project I'm doing, when that happens, I feel like I'm getting closer to the end result, like little confirmations, like mile markers along the way,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in fact, maybe right now I can talk about. There is a friend of mine that I've known him for about probably 15 years, and Daniel called me yesterday, and I think it was he saw my email come in, and so he called me and he told me a story of what he have done without even knowing what we're doing. But he was using the mastermind principles. He wanted to set up a clinic, and he didn't know how to do it exactly. He didn't have the equipment, or it was more like an electronic medicine clinic. And he went to this seminar and he got introduced to some people, and just by being there got introduced to some people, his aspirations about trying to mastermind this over the last several months came to fruition. He met somebody that basically donated to him all kinds of different equipment to set up this clinic. Royal Rife equipment, radionics computers, and biofeedback machines. And when he mentioned this to me, I started kind of adding it up in my head as he was talking through it, and I came well over $100,000 worth of equipment that was donated to him by this one guy just to set up this clinic. This is the kind of stuff that can happen, and it does. All we have to do is to reach into that universal storehouse of creative energies, and things come. And that's why after this show, we're going to invite people in to join us in probably more than one mastermind group. We'll do some smaller ones, and we'll do a big one when we get hundreds of thousands of people involved. And think about that. Let's say that we have 1,000 people in one mastermind group. Remember the definition? When two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind that has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. See, a thought of intention is not just a thought, it's an energy. Let's say you have 1,000 people or 1,000 minds. Multiply that by 1,000. Now you got the mind power of 1,000,000 minds focused in one direction, trying to create something by reaching into the quantum and pulling that energy back into the physical. This is extremely powerful.
So I like thinking about it that an intention is a frequency that carries information. So we launch that intention by being in agreement with it and getting clarity on it, right, with our mastermind friends. And then that intention carries the information out into the field of possibility where all possibilities exist. And then since it has that specific information, it goes out and it links up with other like information, creating a very powerful energetic field, which brings it into actualization.
You got it.
Yay!
I love it. You're so much more eloquent in your speech than I am. So I love having you filling in where I'm missing out. That's wonderful.
You're not missing out at all. I think there's so many, there's so many levels of understanding that of the wonderful people that are listening to us. I want everybody to be able to experience this amazing information.
Yeah,
Augie, when you talked about this guy, now, did he understand the mastermind? He went with the intention of going to this particular meeting. Did he understand the mastermind principle fully, or did he? I mean, was that part of his intention, or he was just going to the meeting?
First of all, the first part of the question was yes. He understands the mastermind principle, and he has been actually doing that for some time. Him and the other people that wanted to create the clinic, they have been masterminding this, trying to picture it, how it would look, and what kind of equipment there would be in there, and what they would do. They had been thinking about this, sending it out, trying to get a match, and bringing it back into the physical. They've been actually doing this.
Wow.
And I didn't even know that he was doing this because we haven't talked for a long time.
Would it be also fair to say that him going to the meeting was a point of action on the intention?
Absolutely.
Maybe amplified that whole process.
Yeah, because either him or another one in the group, they got the idea to go to that seminar and talk
Something
to
about
people.
going, the action, I think, was really tied to that.
Yeah. That was very much a part of it, because that's where it happened. That's where it was born. In the physical.
And whether it's the mastermind or whether it's the law of attraction principles, that sometimes is the part that gets left out, that everybody thinks you're just supposed to sit at home on your living room floor, in the lotus position, focusing on your intention. But the truth is, once you put that energy out there, you're going to, if you just play, right, just daydream like it's already happened, just be like, wow, gosh, I can really imagine how that would feel. And then as you're going about your day, you'll be inspired. You'll have an intuition like, okay, wow, I need to go get a frozen yogurt. Now you don't know why, right? You're like, I don't even know why I want to go get frozen yogurt, but you're just very, very inspired to go get a frozen yogurt, and you end up going to get a frozen yogurt, and you're talking to the girl behind the counter, and the girl says, well, you know what? There's this guy here who's also interested in this electronic clinic stuff, and then it happens. So it's important and it's fun. I mean, instead of playing in anxiety or worry or some of the other places where our thoughts go during the day, we play in the vision of our intention already happening. And then it's fun to take inspired action. And then one thing leads to another, and the next thing you know, it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
I like that phrase, inspired action, because it's at that point where you go, I got to go do this. I don't know why, but I got to do this. Something's telling me I need to go do this. And that's listening to your gut. That's being sensitive to what's going on inside. So, yeah, I think that's a huge part of it.
So.
Oh, absolutely. This happens on a regular basis. Why do you think the super successful people keep doing this if it doesn't work? Why do major corporations, while I was back in Omaha, I did some brainstorming sessions with major corporations, and they were really excited after the session, a 1-hour session, because they got a whole bunch of new ideas and new concepts they needed to work on. So why do we think that they keep doing it if it doesn't work? No, it does work, and pretty much every time. We just may not see the value of each thought that comes through every time. But when we meditate on that and think on it and evaluate it in our own mind and leave ourselves open to inspiration to go and do certain things in certain directions, then we start seeing the value of it when things start unfolding in a successful way.
It's true. And I was just listening to, I think it was Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he was talking about like this mastermind concept, but with a different language. And he went to some very technical, huge corporation. I don't know if it was IT or something like that, but it was like really, really technical. And once they got a taste of the benefit of masterminding, he would go there, and instead of doing nuts and bolts kind of training with him, these very technical IT gurus, who really don't like do woo-woo, would say to him, when are we going to meditate? When are we going to envision? And that's what they really wanted to do, because they knew that it worked. They got a taste of it, and then they wanted to keep going with it. Yes.
Yeah. And see, successful people, they will understand this much better than people that haven't done much, even though there is success buried in them that they have not allowed to come out.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah. It is all in them, but it's just not from maybe restrictions from other thoughts and people around them that keep telling them, oh, don't get your hopes up because then you won't get disappointed when it doesn't happen. There are people like that. Get away from them, ignore them,
well,
direction where the success can be out there, even if you don't see it yet.
Nori, to give that example of IT people, because I have an IT background.
Yeah.
This is a world that ruled by logic. When you get around coders, those kinds of people, it's logic and very statistical and very non-feeling. It's a lot of facts, figures, and data. And for them to embrace this concept and then get hooked on it, to me, is massively impressive, because it shows two things. One, it's not outside the reach of anyone, even if you have come from that kind of a thinking pattern, to say, okay, wait, I'm going to try something different here. And this may sound crazy, but I'm going to step out here and I'm going to try this. And what happened? They wound up getting a deluge of ideas and wanted to do more. I love creative sessions. I love what you called it earlier, brainstorming, masterminding. I love the process, because you get these amazing ideas. But I think Augie mentioned something too. Earlier, we talked about there's no bad ideas. So when you do these sessions, some of the process is that there might be some ideas that aren't as refined. And it is in through the group then that you refine these ideas, that you begin to whittle down and take what was initially kind of rough, or what is that? What are you saying there? And wait a minute, that gives me an idea for this. And all of a sudden it starts to refine itself. So I think that was a great example of IT.
I love that. I love it, because I mean, a diamond is just coal, right? That was recreated and pressed and compressed. So yeah, absolutely. We do have rough ideas and then build them into others. But just tapping into what Augie said before about people limiting you, right? Maybe your family limits you. I know when I was right before I launched a business that landed me on TV and on the front page of the newspaper for all the right reasons, my parents said to me, oh, why don't you go to work at the post office? So, if I had listened to them, I never would have done what I did. But not only do other people, innocently influence us because they want the best for us, limit us in their influencing, but sometimes we limit ourselves. Like I would get in my own way, or I would get so close to something and then sabotage myself. So when you're with a group of like-minded people, the likelihood of doing that is less because of the group support and because of the consistency with which you practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that we need to remember is that do not be afraid to fail. Failure is a part of success, on the road to success. And when we talk about other people holding us back, anytime that you hear that, even though we may not like to hear what they say, listen anyway once. And then you evaluate what they told you, because they may see something that you don't. And in there could be a pearl that could warn you about something. But listen to it once, evaluate it, and then discard it, because you don't want that thing to dwell in your mind. If you have decided to go forward, like full speed ahead, damn the torpedoes, then, yeah, Tom, you're going to relate to that one. You were on a submarine. So just go with it and ignore the good saying is also keep your eye on the goal at the horizon, and you will not see the rocks in the road. That's why you want to create that image of the successful accomplishment and keep your eye on it every day. Do your sessions with yourself and your mastermind group. Even if you don't do it together, join in it every day. Visualize that thing every day. And the thing is that once you have started doing this, then we are drawn to it. When you visualize it up in ahead of you, then you have created something ahead of you in time. You give it a low form of life, and you create a timeline from where you are up to that thing in the future, and you go back and visit it every day.
You mean you go back and visit it every day by playing in the possibility or daydreaming as if it's done? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you laid on a tractor strings to it.
A tractor?
A tractor string, it's an etheric string of white light from where you are in the present now to that thing in the future. And you go back, and that string gets stronger and stronger, and it pulls you up that timeline to that thing you have created and given life in the future. And I see that we're about 2 minutes left before we got to go to break here. What I'd like to do after the break, explain a little bit about the process of actually doing a mastermind session, and then we should do one. And you were talking before the show here, Nora. Maybe we should do it on health or economics, abundance. What were you saying on that? That sounded so good.
Yeah, I think we came to the agreement that that abundance would be a great intention, because everybody can relate to the desire for abundance. I mean, even people who are millionaires, like to increase their abundance as well. So I think maybe we could choose an intention for abundance, and we can talk about that when we come back.
Yeah, that would be good, because abundance, that accomplishes everything that is abundant in your life. If you only think about, let's say, I want to increase my cash flow, well, that restricts it to cash flow. That does not necessarily involve great friendships. That does not necessarily involve other good things in your life, but abundance will encompass everything good in your life in abundant amount. So, yep, we are down to the break, so we'll be gone for about 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 4, depends on how many bills we have to pay this month. So we'll be back right after that, and we'll explain the mastermind and do it.
There are days that the red pill is bitter in my stomach, but I can't get it back out. I think because I have to. I speak because I have no choice. I walk through this dark age we're in with open eyes. Listen to Open Eyes on LateNightInTheMidlands.com. And together, maybe we won't stumble and fall.
Data. The sensors can't penetrate the planet's ionosphere. There's too much interference. Can you find a way to scan for life forms?
I would be happy to, sir. I just love scanning for life forms. Life forms. You tiny little life forms. You precious little life forms. Where are you?
Even the ETs know this is the place to be. LNM Radio Network.
You can listen to the LNM Radio Network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the Paranormal Radio app. Available from LNMRadioNetwork.com or TalkStreamLive.com on both Android and Apple. Our call to listen line is open 24/7. Dial 701-719-9704 so you can listen on the go.
Ever wanted to be sure your robot slave was behaving? Is Echo getting out of control and meeting with Alexa when you're not around? You need RoboGrog. RoboGrog is the new product from Snooze You Lose, the company that also brought you the fine products of Flog a Horse and Calm You Down Now. RoboGrog will put your robotic minions to sleep, bringing their AI a sense of peace and comfort. It does this by sending bolts of electricity straight where the sun doesn't shine. Get RoboGrog today at any fine retailer and set yourself free from the devices that bind you.
You can't just throw someone into prison and silence their warning because you don't agree with them. You don't have to like my methods or what I stand for. Silencing me won't make the problem go away. It will just whittle away at the ability of people to be ready for the real threats. And when the worst happens, and it will, maybe you can take comfort in protecting the people from a dangerous radical who wanted to tell them the truth.
Tired of searching for great talk and great information? Look no more. LNM Radio Network, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Back home, there's a growing pro-Earth movement. Rumors of hate groups targeting aliens. And on all sides, the fanatics think that society has to be protected against anyone who's different. Starting to wonder if what we just saw is a preview of things to come.
Oh, I can't believe we'd be that foolish.
Santayana. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
And we are back with Broadcast Team Alpha. I'm your co-host Tom Schaefer, co-hosting with Nori Love and with Agi Nost. We've been talking about the final episode of our Mastermind series, and we were just touching on getting started with the process of actually masterminding, and we're going to be talking about prosperity. Agi, take us through this process, and not necessarily prosperity, but abundance. And how can people manifest abundance in their lives through this method?
All right. Well, let's do this thing, huh?
That's right.
Abundance has so much more involved than just money. So I want to use the word abundance. But when we get down to doing the session here, then we can keep it in to simplify it for ourselves. We could think of money as such, but thinking of the dollar bill is a little, doesn't have as much value, because we really don't want money. We don't want money. We want what money can do for us. And that can involve a good house, a good form of transportation, and also security in having savings or an investment portfolio. Security of having it. The savings in itself is kind of like a dead object, but the security that comes with it has value to the emotional mind that reaches into the quantum.
Right, so Augie, you're talking, I love where you're going with this, because you're talking about the feeling. You're talking about the essence of what it can bring to us. So when I think about abundance, I think about, okay, so what's that house going to bring me? It's going to bring me safety. It's going to bring me security. Yes. My car is going to bring me freedom. The money is going to bring me the opportunity to create even more things and help other people. So if we tap into the freedom of what that, or the essence of what that abundance brings, I think it's more clarified, right?
Yes.
But quick question for you, Augie. I think it sounded, some people are really maybe stumbling over this thing. You said we don't want money. Maybe on a lower level, there are people that are still, they don't quite get this is a higher concept that you're bringing forth here. A lot of people want money. They really do want money.
And that's
they know
okay.
what they can do with it. So maybe talk about that a little bit.
Well, what do they want money for? Stuff it in their mattress or keep it laying around to look at it? That's
They want money for the feeling, right? For what it's going to bring.
Well, it's a tool, right? As a tool to accomplish bigger things, and I think that's probably maybe a better way to look at it.
Well, it still goes down to what money can do for you. So the money may be, or the dollar bill may be the first step of getting what you really want. So you could pull it into the equation. You can, like for myself, I have $1 million bill sitting on my board here, and I look at it every day. So yes, it has something, it has a value in creating the emotion and the intention and all that. So you could keep it in there for that purpose, absolutely. So maybe we'll just go through the process a little bit. First of all, when you do a mastermind session, you got to have clear goals of what you want to accomplish up front. If you don't have a clear goal and everybody in the session is just there for good things to happen, that is okay too, because then good things will happen to the level of what they need at the moment. But if you want to direct it in a certain direction, then you should have clear goals. So both of them is actually equally valued, because sometimes we don't know what is best for us. And then thinking of abundance would be a good way to bring that in, because we don't know which way the abundance comes necessarily. They come in many different forms. And clear intention. That I think is probably just as good a term as having a clear goal, because the intention is the energy that we want. Okay. First of all, also the people in the mastermind group should be people which have the same goal in mind, because that will magnify the intention going into the quantum, into that universal storehouse of creative energies. But also be open to anything coming back that is good. And it may not necessarily deal with the goal, but it could be a concept that is in peripheral areas related to it, that could lead us to a thought that could again further the goal. So be open to anything. And we should be there in harmony, in peace, and we should trust each other. Because also control our thoughts to be more or less in the direction of what we want to accomplish. If you're in the middle of something really constructive and creating that, don't throw a thought in the middle of it like, oh, gee, I forgot to let the cat in. Try to keep those kinds of thoughts out and then concentrate and be open to flow of energy coming from the universe into you on the subject or related subjects that has to do with what you want to accomplish. We will share our thoughts and our dreams with each other in here. Once we are uniting our minds like this, we are actually sharing thoughts, not necessarily from brain to brain of the people sitting around the table or on the internet looking at the, what we're doing, but we are sharing it out of the brain, out of the mind, into the universal mind, where we are combining our mind capacity with everybody else's mind capacity for the answer that we are looking at. That's where the universal consciousness is very powerful.
So what I'm hearing you say so far is that we, 1, make a decision we want to be in a mastermind, 2, come together in agreement and create an intention, 3, get the feeling or get the essence of what that intention will give you, and then 4, stay focused on the intention as if it's actually happened for you. So if you want money, if you want $5 million, or if you want $1 million, or if you want $50, right? The feeling that it's going to give you, because then I can go do this. So it's freedom. To me, money is freedom and creativity. So right, we tap into the essence of what it brings to us, what we hope for it to bring to us, and then we stay focused on that with our thoughts. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. And these sessions, we should try to keep them to about, I found that keep them to 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, the mind starts bogging down a little bit, unless if you're on a roll and get new ideas, or if you have a good discussion going, don't stop at 20 minutes. Keep continuing up until things go dry and you are slowing down or don't have any new ideas coming in. Then take a break and then come back again and do it. Also, in the beginning, share a success story, because that lifts the expectation level of the people involved. And we also want to, in the beginning, we want to explain what we want to accomplish and visualize it with emotion, intention, vivid, colorful pictures, and throw love in the middle of it. That is very important, because that creates that intention field. And we should select a person to lead the meeting, and we can rotate that. One person this time, another person next time, and so we all can get the experience of being on the front line, because chances are you want to do this at home with your family. Then you need a better experience to do a better session on the process. So by doing this, we open up a channel into the universal storehouse, and that channel would stay open as long as we're on it. And you have a two-way flow of information coming there. And then we are discussing the ideas that come through, and keep it positive, as much as absolutely positive. We got to keep it positive. If somebody has a negative idea come in, it can short circuit the rest of them. So keep it positive. And everybody should take notes or record it if we can. And we speak of the ideas we get, even if it sounds really stupid.
Like
No,
what
there's
Tom
no
said.
such thing as a stupid idea. Because even that idea that you think, oh, that's a dumb thing, yeah, but it could trigger something in somebody else's mind that brings another idea in that will benefit the purpose. So even if it sounds like it's a little off, yeah, mention it anyway. And we should set up a Facebook group to communicate in during the week between sessions, so that if we have questions, we can put it in there, so we can maybe get the answer a little quicker, or we can have, especially if you want to share successes in there, that would be wonderful.
Right, so Augie, we were talking about the process, and I'm sure, well, I'm wondering, so maybe other people are wondering, what exactly is the what happens, what happens in the group when we've got all of these steps in place? Is it a meditation? Is it affirmations? How does it happen?
Okay, let's actually do that now. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, let's do a session here. We got about 7-8 minutes left. We can do a short little session where we go through what we need to do in a very simplified form. This could be done at the kitchen table, or it can be done at a board meeting. It could be done anywhere. And what we want to do is to relax the mind so that we can lower the brainwave pattern into the alpha range or below. That's where the magic is. That's where the level of creativity is. And that opens up the channel to the universal consciousness. So let's just sit down and relax here. If you are driving a car, listening on your phone right now, turn this off, go to the recording and listen to it later on. If you're flying airplanes or doing something with heavy equipment, turn it off right now. And then go and listen to the recording. What we want to do is sit and relax, put whichever way that you're comfortable, and just think about absolutely nothing right now. Just what I do to close my mind down is to cross my eyes a little bit. That dulls the mind and my thoughts go away. Just listen to me for just a few moments. This is a relaxation session, and it is bordering on what it even talks about in the Bible when it says, be still. It doesn't talk about you not moving your feet. It talks about the mind being still. Just listen and follow me. What you want to do is to relax the body and relax the mind. You can visualize a channel or a tube going out into the universe. And this is the channel that you want to communicate your wishes and goals to. And then you will receive information and good ideas coming back. We want to concentrate on something that involves security. And money can create a feeling of safety, security. A good savings account will create the feeling and the wonderful feeling of safety. If you visualize a checkbook, open it up, look in it for, let's say, a 3 and a whole bunch of numbers after it. Visualize. Send this through the channel. And in your own mind, tell yourself that you want to have ideas to replenish your safety and comfort by an increase in income, savings, and investments. If you want to see a house a comfortable, good-looking house that you need for your family, that will make your family happier, feel more secure. See that house in your mind. Look at it. Look at it from different angles. And send that house out the channel into that universal storehouse of creative energies. Now allow for it to find a match in emotional vibration out there and bring that back to the channel into your physical existence. You will have ideas. You will have contacts coming back. Things will appear in your life because you will act on those ideas that you get coming back. Now see that house again on the street. You know what it looks like. Later, you are going to find it. Go to Zillow and look around and you're going to find one that looks like it. Look at the checkbook again. You got that 3 with a whole bunch of numbers behind it. This gives you a wonderful feeling of security. And you know you can donate, you can give to people that have lesser fortunes than you do. And you will feel the wonderful feeling that you get by giving. The one you give to will feel great for receiving, and you will feel even better for having given. It is a giving universe, it's not a taking universe. Even Einstein, before he died, said, I have finally found that this whole universe was built on the frequency of love. Giving creates love. Take about 20 seconds right now. Calm the mind in stillness. Visualize what you want to have happen, coming back through that channel into your physical existence. That is ideas, visual images coming back, good ideas coming back, contacts coming back from the universal storehouse of creative energies. Let's open our eyes, and we are there. It is done.
That was nice.
This is what we did before when I was teaching this, what I called then brainstorming sessions, and we had some phenomenal results with some of these things. And I see we got about a minute and a half left of the show, so Nori,
Yes.
what do you think?
I think that was lovely, and it was easy to tap into. And I just think that anybody who participated or who might participate in the replay just this week, just loosely observe if anything in the form of abundance comes to you. That could be like finding a nickel while you're out walking the dog, but just be aware of little signs and symbols that might be coming. And I'm going to toss it over to Tom here, Tom Catch, so you can take us out.
Okay, well, this wraps up our final series, our final episode in the Mastermind series. And if you want to participate with us in Masterminding, you're welcome to contact us. Come out to broadcastteamalpha.com and go to the contact page. There's a simple little form you can fill out. Or if you don't like to do that, you can contact us, broadcastteamalpha@gmail.com, and get a hold of us that way. either way, get a hold of us, and we're forming a mastermind group on Facebook. We'll have that set up here this week, and you can participate that way too. And going forward, our next series, we're going to start another series called Reaching for Utopia.
Yay!
Now, for years, we've all heard utopian ideas or fantasies. Just forget about utopia. It's just a fantasy. And so we've all been kind of conditioned to think that the word is actually a four-letter word. And really, it's a state of being, of a social consciousness that reaches towards a highly positive goal. And so we're going to reach for it. Now, we don't know that we're going to reach utopia in this lifetime, but we could. It's possible. We mastermind towards it. It's quite possible we could reach utopia. So that's what we're going to be discussing in our upcoming episodes. So we invite you to join us for those. And we're going to be talking about, what is a utopian society all about? What does that mean? Is everybody drinking some kind of Kool-Aid? Is it all part of a religious cult? No, it's about a way of being that a society can achieve, where we take care of one another, about being nice to one another, about taking care of the sick and the old and the young, and just a different kind of life. And we talked about this earlier. Augie mentioned that there are planets that people have talked about that already are achieving that. That's a sign of an advanced civilization, is that they understand a higher way of living. And so we're going to talk about that. So,
yep. That's awesome, Tom. And people can come hang out with us now, right, at our group, our Facebook group?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you come to our Facebook page, you can dive right in on any topic. You want to contribute anything you want. On our Facebook page, we have the Facebook. Well, you can't do it on the page. You can try, but Facebook kind of locks things up with pages. But we have the group. So join our group if you're not in there already. Feel free to contribute. There's no, we're not heavy-handed. As long as it's positive and reinforces others, that's what our group's all about. So you're more than welcome to come in and be a part of that. And if you want to share some masterminding experiences, we'd love to hear about that. That would be great.
Yeah,
something
awesome.
Has worked for you and you've got a tip, that'd be great to hear about that, as well as everything else we're doing.
Okay.
Is that it, Augie? Is that the gong?
You're getting the hook.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Next week we will be back here, and we sure hope to see you there then too.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. See
Bye-bye.
you then.